minutes. Uh, Right. And then we can get into discussions, question answers, whichever. Okay. So I'm just clarifying at the beginning the different terms different people use. Somebody says homeschooling, somebody uses unschooling. We call it open learning because we don't limit it to school age children. It goes right up, as Dwiji himself calls himself open learner. So it goes to any age. But yeah, definitely we work with youth up to 21 minimum, meaning definitely. So, all right. Also we the other clarification I want to give is that it's not about children, it's about families. And that's very important for us because it's not a child decision, it's a family decision. And it's not just the child would be doing open learning, the whole family starts doing open learning. What that leads to, how that evolves, is obviously unique to each family. So let's see where we started. We started with this question of what is the purpose of education. And what we could figure out as an answer to that question is that probably the purpose of education is to live, not anything else. And which means that living, learning, education all seem to become synonymous. And invariably, that means that the child is the leader of self. And in what ways is the child the leader? The child would decide what I want to learn, how I want to learn, how I want to reflect and assess myself, how much I want to learn, how well I want to learn something. In fact, maybe at some point of time, the learning goes away, just the doing happens. What I want to do, how I want to do, how much I want to do, and so on. So it's more the doing than really learning. Who cares about learning when I'm in action in areas which I really like? And those same areas can evolve into my professional journey also. Yeah. So that's how it goes. So that's so children transit from um, you know just starting and till they are in a profession. uh, I'll come to that in just a little while. The important key thing that we feel is that open learning is all about giving responsibility, or rather allowing children to be responsible for themselves, much like how we like to be responsible for ourselves. And the moment we do that, that to us is open learning. So it's not so much about freedom, it's more about responsibility. uh, because uh, we don't have infinite freedom, but we have infinite responsibility, and we learn that as we go along. I guess it's a lifelong learning of to what is my responsibility to myself and to others and to the world and so on. uh, in general, open learning follows this broad kind of progression. We start, younger children especially start with a lot of exposure. Then they move into exploring. As they grow older, they start exploring stuff. So a lot of the 7, 8, 9, 10 years old are more into exploring things that they like. The younger ones are more into exposure. And as they grow older into teenage years, probably they get more into expertise in one or two domains. And then if they want to convert that into a earning profession, then they get into an enterprise stage. They convert their expertise into enterprise. So that's broadly, obviously at expertise and enterprise, it's not that you stop exposing yourself to different things or exploring different things. I guess all of them get added up as we go along. And then the journey continues. So that's broadly what open learning is. Essentially child driven, essentially based on what the child's interests are, and then you go ahead and exploring those interests in the way that you like to do, how you want to do something, explore something, learn something. Some people may like through books, some people like through videos. A lot of them like to do hands-on things, or even do actual real life things with whatever they are interested in. Yeah. So that's the typical journey. Um, what is Aarohi? It's a community of families to kind of co-create their journeys with the help of each other, to learn together, do a lot of collaboration. In fact, today, whole day, there were little 20 minutes workshops happening. We were calling it Learning Utsav or Learning Mela, which was happening online. So families from different cities were doing those 20-minute sessions for different people to learn on different topics. Uh, Maybe Pranav can give us a snapshot of that little later. And then obviously, the community means we support each other, we help each other, and we also live together. Live doesn't necessarily mean we live in the same city. We could be anywhere in this world, but our home is a learning campus. Our Aarohi campus is also a learning campus. Each other's house or city becomes a learning campus, and travel becomes a learning way. So all permutations, combinations are good. Not that everybody has to be at one place or at any point of time. Each family decides where you are at what point of time. Yeah. So it's very, very open, very flexible. We consider the whole world as as ours, as simple as that. It's ours. We can go anywhere, learn from anybody, connect with anybody. Yeah. Um, a little bit more about this professional journey, which is, we call that as co-varsity, where the youth get together to kind of lead their own professional journey. What they typically do is they take up one or two domains and then they kind of deep dive into it. And obviously all of this is outside the conventional system. They don't really give exams and go to colleges, but they deep dive into their domains by actually doing work which relates to the industry. So they take up client projects, industry projects, internships, stuff like that, even earn money, whatever. And as they do that, they collect their own portfolio of stuff that they have done, and that makes them work certified, which industry loves it because they know these people have done real relevant work. It's not like textbookish, it's actual work, and they're like work ready. So industry loves it. And yeah, that's a little bit about co-varsity, the professional journey, because a lot of people say, okay, so in open learning, how do I start earning money? That's how you start earning money, and you may even start earning money much earlier because you're straight on to doing stuff. Yeah. This is a little snapshot of different things that some of the co-varsity guys are up to. Little different things, each one their own domains. Um, okay, so let me stop here. The whole idea of open learning is that, hey, I need to grow from inside out. The interest may change, professions may change. Uh, what I think at 7 may change at 14, may change at 31, 21, 41, whatever. But I keep growing from inside out, and that's where I develop myself. That's the whole idea. And it happens because I'm driving, I'm taking responsibility, I'm choosing all kinds of things to do what I want to do. Yeah, so let me stop here. Uh, and let me see if my video would work. I was getting hopefully a little better connection now. Right, so now the floor is open. We can discuss, we can ask questions, it's a very informal meetup. So whoever wants to say or ask anything, please feel free. Whoever wants to respond to it, please feel free. It's all open. Yeah.
I have a question, sir.
Yeah, you can call me Ratnesh, not sir and all. Ratnesh is fine. Yeah.
Yeah, this is an on campus program only, right? I haven't read much about it. Sorry about my ignorance, but so what is this? I saw that these kids they live on
Okay.
the campus.
No. Wait. Pause. Then let me once again go back to the slide. First of all, it's not a program. Okay. It's a community of families who uh, who are just together, right? And any family can be part of this community. And what the community does is whatever each one wants to do. It's not something that somebody is designing something or there is a program, no. There's no program. Or rather, you can put it that everybody is co-programming it. Somebody says, I want to play chess with Dinal, and Dinal says, okay, I also want to play chess. Then you two play chess. You could be in the same city, you could be in different cities, you could be anywhere in the world. You could be in the campus, Aarohi campus, or those two, that person can come to your home and stay with you and play chess or whatever. So it's like very, very open how the whole community works. It is not campus based, as I had shown this little list. I hope my audio was clear. campus is just one of the places. You can just be at your home, right? More maybe if Vijay or Pranav, you want to share? You are from Mumbai, so you can share how you have been part of the community from Mumbai. If you're there, uh,
Yeah, Ritesh. So yeah,
okay,
basically,
thanks.
as you know, we are and we have been on this journey of open learning for almost like now 3 years, and mostly connected with Aarohi. Sorry, my video is off.
No issues.
I'm out. Yeah. So so basically, to answer your question specifically, we are connected with the community on through online medium. So there are various means of being with the community. Like we have Discord, and we frequently meet on Zooms, and there are many things which happen. So today we had a sort of a learning mela or a workshop where all the adults came together and they did a workshop, and it was for the community people. So there are many such things that we do together. If somebody wants to say has an interest regarding nature, then the community will come together, and again they will all decide a time and a particular day when they will all meet together and discuss nature. Somebody would want to talk about astronomy, or somebody would want to talk about XYZ things like say chess, as Hasne said.
Like
Somebody
laddu
wants to
making.
bake laddu making. Yeah, somebody wants to talk about has interest into this cooking, baking, so they can also join, come collaborate together and probably create a space. So that's what it is. So Aarohi is basically a community of people who are into this journey together, and each family has their own way of kind of navigating this. So there is no template to this. Each family does it their way from whichever space, and you always have an option to go to campus at Bangalore. It's other close to Bangalore. So yeah, that's it. So I think I hope that
Okay.
answers.
Yeah, sure. Thank you, Pranav. All right. Okay.
Yeah, Pavitra has also raised hand. Go ahead, Pavitra. You don't have to raise hand. Just unmute and speak.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you, sir. So as I have 5-year-old son, and good to know that some of you have already taken this path. So, sir, for me, as a parent, I have a lot of guilt in being able to make decision to put him though to an open learning space. Though um, like within me, I believe that this is the way for Milan to learn. This is the way that that I can see uh, Milan, and this is the way that he'll be able to flourish, because I sent him to school the last 2 years. I mean, like the kind of issues that he has had, and the issues that I've had in sending him to the Montessori or the LKG and UKG. I've had a lot of issues the way they treat, because this 5-year-old, they expect him to learn the spelling of tongue. He's able to tell the sense organs, but he's not able to write. So they said he's failed. They labeled him as a slow learner. I tried to give this feedback to principal. I tried giving this feedback to the teacher, but they really think that I have some mental health issue because of the way I question. I feel they have mental health issues because they don't know how to work. And in fact, I actually questioned the principal last week, because they called me saying that next year, is first standard and your son is not prepared. And I told her that, I feel all his creativity is being killed. I really want to ask, what is the conditions that you're creating for the child? Even I myself at this age don't know the spelling for tongue. How can you expect a 5-year-old to spell it? And in fact, the principal herself is part of the WhatsApp group. I asked her, over the last 2 years, except the 2 kids video that comes on saying that, they're doing well, this is how it is done. And I'm like, what happened to the remaining 28 children? I've never seen. Which means these 2 kids will by default, would be able to do well, irrespective of the effort that is being put. And then they sent me message saying that if you want to take your child out, you can. And I told her that, this is not the place that I want my son to study. As I said, sir, like, within me, I believe that this is the way, and that is a risk that I have to, but I have a lot of parent guilt that, where I'm actually spoiling his future. Is it, am I confused? Or is it that I don't know how to do parenting. I'm like, I am sitting with a lot of guilt in being able to make decisions. So I am also here to seek that strength from this community to be able to make this decision. But I'm strongly convinced that I don't want Milan to go for normal schooling. And he's also 5. Again, there's a lot of this internal conversation that I keep having, Ella, like, why did I even give birth? Right? If I don't know how to, take care of him. So there's a whole lot of those questions that I'm having, and I'm hoping that this group will help me, navigate the complexities that I am having in being able to make the decision, sir. I've been to Aarohi campus. I've interacted with the children. I keep quoting this, saying that, when I went to Aarohi and when I asked one of the kids, how long have you been here? He was so confident in saying that, ma'am, I'm really sorry. I don't count days and months. And I'm like, wow, right? So that's exactly what, we want, because we expect kids to give you an answer saying, no, ma'am, I've been here for a month. Right? I'm like, that's how the society conditions the children to answer. And that's exactly where I would also like to see Milan. So I am seeking a lot of things from this community.
Sure, Pavitra. We'll walk with you. Yeah, we'll walk with you. Super. Yeah, but see, it is, to me, it's not just about what these schools do. I would say schools have one way of doing it. Some people like it, and that's great, awesome. Nothing wrong or right about schools. But there is this whole invitation to everybody to see, hey, how else can we live our life? And if you like this, it's like somebody may like dosa, somebody may like chapati. So how does that matter? Both are good. So I would say, yep, school is great, but open learning is also amazing if you want to do this way. And yes, we can all talk about it. You can ask questions, and I don't think we can reduce your guilt, but I like guilt personally. To me, guilt means that I have to relook at my priorities. Right? That is what the guilt is telling me. Hey, if I'm guilty, that means my priorities are somewhere here, there. Let me relook at them. Let me realign myself to my priorities. So guilt is good news. And that's brought you here. So good. Awesome. Yeah.
So just want to add a few things, Pavitra. One thing is that a community is as strong as we feel part of it, right? So do not, and the other thing is that when you were on campus, you probably saw what was written on the gate and the compound. Is it still there, Ratnesh? Yeah,
Yes, very much.
yeah.
That cannot go.
Do you remember that, Pavitra?
I don't remember.
Okay. Let's see if we can pull up a photograph of that and post it. Pranav, if you can, or I'll do it after I'm done talking. So it's very important to recognize that the community is as strong as we feel a part of it. And it's not going to be easy. I mean, the solution to, the community is not going to offer you a guilt-free life. Let me put it very directly, right? But what you will find is a lot of people sharing how they are feeling, how they are living their lives, and being open to talking about what they are going through. And when I say they, it's not just the parents, but it's also the children, right? So when we talk of the community, we are not just talking of a community of parents, we are talking of a community of learners. And I want to go back to that point that Ratnesh, when he was saying that, we consider ourselves open learners, it's not that we are trying to learn a particular subject, right? Each of us is learning different things. And some of us are learning how to live a better life, right? It might be about becoming more rich. It can be about becoming, being able to cook better. It could be so many things. But the point is that each of us is coming to the community as a learner and not as a parent. The parenting is a happenstance. It's one part of my entire personality. My parenthood does not define me, but my being a learner defines me being part of the community. I'm sorry, I went a little. So, but the bottom line that I'm trying to get to is that you're going to be part of the community to be a learner yourself rather than for the sake of your child. I think I've said enough.
Yes, I get it. I get it where the message that is coming.
Yeah, but again, how do we decide? Like, I sometimes, over the weekend, let me try this, let me just follow my child and his likes and dislikes, and let me just do whatever he wants to do and learn whatever he wants to learn. But somewhere we get lost, It's like, hopefully, I mean, we need a structure somewhere, something at least, it's just, I don't know, it can get overwhelming otherwise.
Okay, so are you saying following the child becomes overwhelming or not having a structure becomes overwhelming? Sorry, you are on mute.
She's on mute.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
For instance, ask him, what do you want to do today? And he says, okay, I want to build this. And YouTube, looking for videos, looking for some help. And there is no way that I can help him build that, it's just, it's not in my capacity. So then I feel really bad that I'm not able to, do what he likes. Like, how am I gonna do anything? If he wants to do some math thing, I'm not so great at math, and I can't help him. Then he'll ask me a question, and I'm like, okay, and I look it up. I still don't understand. Okay, I don't know what to do. So I feel really. I mean, I don't know how to go about this without any help from outside. So, because we are not experts at everything, so how do we have? I mean, I'm not gonna have answers to all of his questions, and no matter how much I look it up, I mean, there is no clear answer.
Sure, sure. Somebody wants to respond to that. Reshma, you've been doing unschooling for a couple of years. You want to respond to Dina?
Yeah, so I don't know whether I can help you with your situation, but I can relate to what you're saying because coming from a conventional setup, we always want structure. We always want some reference. So I also so I always say 2 years unschooling, but before that we did 2 years of homeschooling as well. So, so first when the school was not working, we decided that okay, 1 year we'll try homeschooling. If it doesn't work, maybe she'll miss out just 1 year and then she can go back to school. So first we tried homeschooling, brought curriculum at home, doing schooling at home, but soon realized that learning is not very authentic. So we took a pause and then we came across this unschooling. So I took some time to read more about it, to read through books, blogs, listening to podcasts. So all that intellectual learning was happening for me, and it looks very fancy and doable in the first go. But it's when you actually start doing it, uh, the challenging part is to face your own attachments maybe, or your own conditioning, and that's when I think this process is more about parents than the children. Children are very natural in learning, but we look for that tangible learning in everything. So maybe I can say one example that happened. I learned through examples, so I'm going with that. So I went to an alternate school. There was a art week happening over there, and I had full planning in my mind. Oh, she'll do this activity or that activity. She'll learn this, and I was very excited. And the first day, she was not that thrilled as I was. And then, so it was just me and my daughter. So I was talking to my husband. I was like, no, I don't think so. She's that interested. It's not going so well and all that. So that we stayed in that new place for almost 2 weeks. But now when I look back, She had an amazing experience. She liked walking without her footwear, walking barefoot and feeling different textures of sand. And she played frisbee with the kids over there. She tried different kind of food which doesn't normally doesn't get. So and she likes interacting with people. So maybe I don't have a tangible learning from that experience, but I can see that she's growing as a person. So sometimes I feel we get too much into uh, dividing things into subjects or output oriented outlook towards life. But kids don't learn linearly. It's all bits and pieces here and there, and it all comes together gradually. So yeah, I think it's more working on yourself rather than on the kids so far, from my experience. Thank you.
Pranav, you want to respond to the original thought of dinner? Sorry, are you feeling okay,
Yeah,
Pranav?
Dinner, I was listening. Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
No,
okay, good.
I was listening to her and she was like, I don't know math or I don't know like something, she was referring to some building thing. So there are, like, again, as Reshma, I would like to talk with examples. So my daughter goes for Malcolm, and Malcolm, I know hardly know anything, and I definitely can't do it. So she has her coaches, and she has her institute where she goes, she learns. So it's, as a parent, I think in this journey of open learning, firstly you have to be guilt free. It's like you have to be clear about, okay, these are my constraints, these are my limitations, and I live with it. That's fine. And that's what your child will also learn with life, because in life you don't get everything that you seek for, or you wish for. So it's okay if you can't, are not able to provide it. But yeah, of course, he will figure out few things. You probably will work together as a team, maybe look for. And that's where the community also plays a role, where when you have a community, there are people who have different interests, and when and they can collaborate and they can work together. So say if some child or some parent, they are interested in some common thing, they can do the art together, some sort of art together. Somebody can do editing together, somebody can work on, say, carpentry together. So it helps. So I'm not saying community will have an answer. Even say for Malcolm, the community probably might not have an answer right now, but it helps. I'm just saying. So most of the things are taken care of through by being people, are being surrounded by people who are into the similar journey. So that is one. And most importantly, I think we have to be okay with the fine. This is, I don't know, I can't help here, and we'll try and figure it out. Let's see, and let's take time. Let's not hurry into it, and as let's not get into output kind of a thing, as what Reshma was saying. Okay, I need to bring in, the child has to build something, as in the concrete, the whole house has to be there. The child, in his vision also, if he's building something, I feel that's good enough. So probably we are not seeing it, but if it's in his vision, his thoughts, his ideas, he's creating something. You just give him some clips, you give him some sticks, you give him some random cloth, you give him some things. Probably he can build from that as well. So we are conditioned to think, oh, this is what the structure has to be, or this is what the building has to be. But for him, it could be very different. The design could be very different, or the materials could be very different. So you have to be like, spontaneous. Give him some spoons, give him some utensils, whatever. जो भी हाथ में आता है दे दो, कैसे बनाओ, यही अपने पास आज है. So I think that's where probably things work.
And that makes sense. That makes sense because when, sorry, when we're looking at making something, it's like, okay, material required, da 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 da. Oh, we have the, can't do it. Oh God, next. So yeah, it makes sense. Whatever you have, work with that. No pressure, no stress. Thank you, Pranav.
Yeah, another way to look at it, Dinal, is that let us say if I want a group of children to learn art, uh, most people will say, let's bring an art teacher, but I'll put maybe a maths teacher with them or a football teacher with them. And the ones who want to learn maths, I'll put the art teacher there. I hope you get the drift. The idea is if we already know something, then we end up teaching. But when we put children in the lead, when you say, I follow him, now that means I don't need to know anything. In fact, it's much, much better when I don't know anything. Now I have two options. Either I want to get involved in it because I also want to explore it just like another child, or I can say, boss, you do it. I'm not interested in this, which is also fine, where I can do what interests me and the child can do what interests the child. And wherever I need help, let's say I say, okay, I'll learn guitar, and the child says, I want to learn whatever, let's say mathematics, or want to make something. So the child may also need help. I may also need help in guitar. I may go for YouTube. He may go somewhere else, or he may go to YouTube. I may call a friend and say, hey, how do you do this in guitar? So we both will have our own ways of finding what we need. It could be resources, it could be help, it could be a tip, it could be anything. There are people who have learned a whole lot of programming just by using the help groups on the internet called as open source, right? A whole open source community exists to help each other, like worldwide amazing people, right? I have always worked through open source and learned a whole lot of things myself as an adult. I'm just saying, giving an example. So I think we start thinking that, okay, yes, the child has to learn this. To me, no, the child has to learn how to learn, and that is his way of learning, not my way of learning. Maybe my way of learning is from a teacher, which is fine, but his way could be by just by doing, which is also fine. He may ask for a certain resource, he may come up with an idea, he may connect with other people, or he may just feel frustrated, and frustration is good, just like guilt is good. All of that means that there is fire inside me. So that then we are recognizing what the child is going through rather than trying to solve things for him, because that's good news. Frustration is good, guilt is good, all of the emotions are good. They are us, they are part of us. How can they be bad for us? So the whole idea is now the being is the leader, as an let's say the child or the learner is the leader, and we are not really followers, we are co-passengers. Now, as co-passengers in a, let's say, in a train or a car, we don't necessarily are interested in the same thing. I can just do my thing, he can do his thing. Some things we'll do together, some things we'll do separately. Maybe much like how we do with our spouse. We don't do everything with our spouse. But we do certain things with him or her, and we do certain things which we like doing, and that's absolutely fine. So it's kind of a very dynamic co-passenger kind of a relationship, or a co-creation kind of a relationship, which is not defined by the content. The content will keep changing, evolving, right? So that's how it goes. At least that's how we have seen it going. And especially in our campus, if you come here, or in our community, not even the campus, the whole community, there's so many people with so many different interests. I mean, it's just not possible for anybody to kind of do everything for everybody. So it's just everybody drives their own journey into whatever they want to learn. Yeah, so that's like how the whole thing works. It looks a little woolly, chaotic from outside, but it's not at all like that. It's actually fairly structured, but it's structured by each individual, by each learner. Each learner decides how my day would be, how my hour would be, what all would I like to do, how will I like to do. And if we plan 100 and if we do 20, that's good enough, because that's how life is. Even at this age, I plan 100 and I end up doing 25. So I'm or I may do 100 also. One day I may do 25 out of 100. So that's okay. So we all learn this whole idea of what I want to, how I want to live my life. And that's where an important part comes, where we kind of do some kind of a broad planning together, maybe in the night or in the morning as a family. We sit down and say, okay, what all you want to do, what all I want to do, what all your dad want to do. If there's a grandmother, what does grandmother want to do? And then we all again meet, maybe again in the night, and say, how was the day? Did it go? And the grandma will say, oh, I didn't do anything, I kept on sleeping. And the son will say, I kept on watching that video. And the father will say, I kept on doing one meeting, and so on and so forth. Life goes on. And then we again plan, and then we again reflect, and so on. And we give each other feedback, and each other, remember, not just me giving child feedback, child giving me feedback, and so on. Meaning that's at a family level. If you come here, you will experience it at a community level, with a whole lot of us doing that dynamically on a daily basis. So it's one thing which is basically normally Pranav's dialogue, but it's one thing that open learning brings the family more closer, more close knit, because you are all the time interacting, you're not monitoring, because each one is responsible for themselves. Yeah, let me also stop and see Dviji's face is like about to sleep.
Oh, God, no, I mean, that's a lot to take in. I mean, it's great. I mean, when you said that you should, like the frustration and the guilt is all good, that's great. But I thought that if I want to take this part, if I want to do this, I would have to quit everything, that I do in order to make it happen for him. So, from whatever you're saying, I don't think that's the right way to go about it. Right?
Plus
Yeah,
one
yeah.
to what?
Yes. I'll give you a very, very small example and try to keep it short also. For last 3 years, I've been trying to, go for, kite flying in Gujarat. And it's like something that I wanted to do for like, last 3 years. For some reason, it never happened. Like the things could not work out or whatever. And like my wife or my daughter, they were not like very keen on it. Like they were, kya hai, theek hai, patang udana hai. So something like that. And I was like, nee, Gujarat ka festival. And this time we managed to, go there and, do things. And my daughter suddenly got so interested. She was like flying kites. She was so happy. Even Preeti, like my wife was there. And we were all together as a family. So it's not about like, okay, now since they are not interested, I give up on trying or I don't do it, or rather I spend my weekend here only, despite whatever my interests are. I ensure that I push that thing, push. It worked out. We all went together, and of course they kind of were with me. And as we went there, it happened to be a fantastic trip. So that's what it was. So it's not about kind of just thinking through the prism of your child only or your someone else only. You keep doing what you do, and you never know what your child gets exposed to.
And also, I would like to add one thing. I know in the beginning when you come across that idea, it's very overwhelming. First of all, it's hard to believe that acha, kids can learn by themselves. How is that possible? How do they know what they want to learn? And it's hard to believe that they can learn by themselves and things. So I jumped right in. Like, I did not give myself time to be okay, have not having a productive day. So first give yourself that time to go slow, not just to give yourself that weekend throughout a month, where you're just spending time with your family and getting comfortable with the idea of going slow or not having an agenda. And then gradually you'll feel that you are able to connect with your child and connect with yourself as well, and you might uh, pick something from there. I don't know, I mean, I don't know whether uh,
Yeah, I
you
think
guys.
Reshma, it's not just about going to campus to recognize these things. It's also that you can do a lot of these things if you just observe your children.
Not campus, I'm saying, not going to Aarohi campus. I'm saying
Yeah.
take a break from uh,
Mhm.
not having an agenda. So
Yeah.
people have labeled it as deschooling.
Lovely.
That give yourself that space where
Mhm.
you are okay with not so say for example, for me, when we started
Mhm.
homeschooling, every day I would, okay, आज क्या पढ़ाई किया, आज क्या सीखा उसने, so it was very overwhelming for me, that where I was putting pressure on myself that now she is out of school, now I am responsible for her learning.
Yeah.
So it's taking give yourself that time, that you it's not your responsibility to make them learn everything. You
Yeah.
are there as a facilitator,
Mhm.
and take that time off. Don't just jump right in.
Yeah. Yeah. Lovely. Lovely. Yeah. And what I would lay emphasis there is that while you do that, please recognize that you are trying to learn yourselves, right? You're trying to learn about how people learn things. And there I would ask you to expand your horizon beyond your child. Look at children outside, look at adults outside of your regular settings, of people you are, maybe even of people you are conditioned to see, right? I mean, just observe the milk दूध वाला जो दूध deliver करता है, or the watchman who's working his beat outside your apartment, in case you're in an apartment. right? And just observe and see, are there any changes? Is there something that I am seeing different today from what it was yesterday, or what they regularly do? What I'm trying to say is that we are all constantly learning. And I mean, if you're adventurous enough, look within and find out what are the things that you have learned for which you did not attend a course. You didn't go to a school or a college or or a certification program, but you have learned it and you're doing it decently well. I mean, there's plenty of ways in which we can recognize the power of open learning if we know where to look for them and how to look for them. And it's like, it's the success of the conditioning that we miss it so much, even though it's there everywhere. So yeah, so just take some time out, like Reshma said. Completely agree. Sorry, Reshma, I thought you meant going to campus and doing it. And yeah.
Okay, just inviting more people in the group also. You don't have to be on video to ask a question. Even without video, you can use chat. Pritesh is there, Sumit is there, Hamza. You can also ask. Lena is there. So please go ahead. You can also not just ask, share, say anything, whatever. It's all open. Yeah. And if more people want to join on video, great. We can have more visual connect. So that's always welcome, but not necessary. Yeah.
So my daughter didn't like what I had made for dinner. So she is coming to ask what should I make and deciding what are the things to go into that and all that. So
avocado pasta. Hi, Hi, Ratnesh.
I think one sign that you're having a great journey is that you fight a lot with your child. And I think if fights are not happening, then something is amiss. Right? If fights are happening about everything, then means it's a full-on thing. That's the real maza of living together, learning together. Then living, learning is all one thing. There are lots of fights, there are lots of discussions, there are lots of back and forth.
I
That-
got my dose of all is well today, Ratnesh.
That's good to know, because today my son and I, we got into a tiff, and he's like, I can't do homeschooling if you're going to be like this and shouting at I can't do it, then I am better off in school.
Yeah. Absolutely. He said it.
But every resource that you look at, it's just every book says different things. I think we'll just have to find the right path for ourselves, whatever works for us. And the book
Yeah.
that I'm reading is they have mentioned so many methods that parents adapt, the Charlotte Mason, Montessori, unschooling, forest learning, and I mean, it's just there's so much information about this. I'm feeling super lost, but this whatever you said is like, okay, it's I think it's not that difficult, and it's not that intimidating as it sounds, right? It's okay, just take it easy.
And more importantly, it is what works for you at that time. So it could be
Oh,
very dynamic. So you don't have to be like stuck to a particular, like, this is the method I'm going to follow now, this is the route I'm going to take. So this is what is working for me. You keep evolving, the things keep evolving as a family. Situation, circumstances changes. So accordingly, you maneuver, keep moving along, and that's how it is. So you just flow. That's it.
okay. But when you say family, I mean, my husband really, I mean, he comes home at late at night, so he will not be able to be a part of this, even though he's willing to, you know. So is that okay? I mean, it's
We are not counting hours, yeah. We are not counting hours. Yeah, it's not about like this many hours somebody has to spend or this many,
just
this
how
is
much
the.
time is.
It's about being together. It's just kind of being together as a family, bonding together. Whatever he's offering, he's doing his part. You are doing your part. Your child is being there, and you're all kind of creating that space together. That's more important. So it's
Okay.
not like who stays with whom for how many hours. It's not that.
Yeah. In
Oh.
fact, I would give a very weird suggestion that don't read any books for now. Do this for some time, maybe few years, and then when you go back to the books, you will say, "Arey, ye to sab kar liya." Whatever they have said, right? You would have done that already, right? Because life isn't going to be same every day. Every day is gonna be different, and you would have visited all kinds of philosophies, theories, techniques, methods. So the what I'm trying to say, the best book, Viji today hasn't said his dialogue, but the best book is the child. Whenever you
That
have a problem, whenever you have a problem, have a roundtable meeting. Yeah, with your whole, as we keep using the word family. If even if one person is little away, the person can still give his point or her point of view through other ways, through a phone call, through a later on call, or whatever it is. The point is that let's have lots and lots of discussions, debates about whatever is the thing. So whenever something comes to your mind, oh God, this is happening, what should I do? Dviji will say, dial the child. As in, go to the child and say, what do we do about this? Ulta, rather than the child coming to you and you going to let's say a book or a Google, I'm saying forget that. A book and Google is not what I'm here to develop. I'm here to develop the child. Or rather, we are here to develop each other. So let's have each other. Let's discuss. Let's try out. Let's come up with idea. Let's brainstorm. Let's try all kinds of things. And 9 out of 10 will not work, but the not working is perhaps more beautiful learning than the one which works. But anyway, all of them are learning, so that's the whole fun. So the child is the best book for you, and for the child you might be the best book, or meaning the family. And that's how we read each other more, we discuss each other more, we more and more and more, not necessarily in terms of quantity, but in terms of frequency, you can say, you know. So that's something. So you can even, if it works for your family, you can have a routine that, okay, at least this time point part of the day we will meet every day. Or at least in my case, let's say for example, my children are much bigger, so we don't meet every day, but we meet definitely every week on the Sunday. My daughter is married, lives elsewhere, but still that Sunday ritual goes, and we discuss our week openly, whoever had fight with whoever, whatever worked, whatever did not work. So that's just a ritual, but that keeps us all in sync with, meaning earlier we used to do this on a daily basis, now we do it on a weekly basis. But that's a journey that you will have to evolve. What frequency, how you meet, when you meet, how many times you meet, you use other mediums, and so on and so forth. And as Dviji was saying, involve more people. The community isn't only about like Aarohi community or open learning family. Everybody consider as part of your community. The auto rickshaw guy is part of your community. The baker down the road is part of your community. The prime minister is your community. You just think of the whole world is yours. Now see whom you want to pick up for what. Now, suddenly the whole thing, like I remember Pranav's daughter Mishti, when I think she was 9 or 8 at Pranav, when she went and worked with a vegetable seller for a week or 2 weeks, selling vegetables with her whole day. Oh, that's so interesting, so amazing. I mean, I didn't do that when I was 7 years old or whatever, 8, 9. I don't remember the age, but like, these kind of things, we just consider everybody as part of the whole thing, and it's so much fun.
Super interesting, Ratnesh. This is very exciting. The way you put it in words, it sounds easy and exciting. So thank you.
Easy part, I don't know. Exciting, yes.
Yeah, just want to add another very important aspect here, that one underlying point of all this discussion is that learning is not equal to schooling, right? So when we talk of learning is a lifelong process. it's not going to end. There will always be something or the other that we'll need to learn, whether it is about ourselves, about the people around us, about the world around us, or about, algebraic equations, or, music, or yeast and flour consistencies and stuff like that. It will never be done. Learning will only be completed when, I think it will continue even after you're dead, but that's as far as we can go in our living selves. So what I'm trying to say here is that when we ground ourselves on the fact that learning is a lifelong process, this sense of urgency, ki my son or my daughter or I am this old, so therefore I should know this and this, you lift yourself out, or you shed that load off your shoulder once we start looking at life as a learning journey, right? So especially when we talk of being stressed about something, about reading, it's very good to read. I mean, I beg to differ with Ratnesh on some of these things. Read as much as you want, right? Just as he's saying, talk to as many people, read as many books as you want. I mean, I'm married to a woman who just can't stop reading. But at the same time, there are lots of things that you can do even if you're not reading about it, right? So that's what we say, that when we are doing something, we learn something. And when does that learning happen? When we reflect upon what we did, which is what Ratnesh was sharing. As a family, I mean, as a community, as an individual, or as a family, you can pick how you want to reflect on things based on who you want to include in your community, right? So anyway, it's getting too esoteric again, but
Yeah,
I just
so
wanted
just
to
to
make sure.
give an example to what Vijay is saying. So my son wasn't reading till about 8 years, and we were absolutely fine with that. I mean, why does one need to read when there are so many people to read aloud to him? And one fine day, he says that I find it very difficult to absorb all the information that Google throws up. So I guess I need to learn how to read. And then also there was no reaction from us. Okay, now you want to read, you learn how to read. And within few weeks, months, he was reading. And by 10, 12, he had finished Harry Potter's and of the world and so on. So that's just one example. When the idea is, which you were saying, then there is no hurry to reach anywhere. Right? I just keep saying, hey, anyway, we are going to go around the sun every year. So don't worry, you aren't going to go anywhere else. Right? So, and thank God we are on this planet and going around and still alive. Right? So the thing is, when children have, not just children, when we also have a need to learn something, we will learn it. Like today, we're trying to fit a pump, and I'm trying to understand or think what could be the physics because it's not working. We tried for 3 hours and it just didn't work, and I've still not cracked the problem. And I refuse to Google, and I refuse to go anywhere. We tried lots of different ways, and I said, let's continue to have this fun, although there is no water coming in, but that's okay. We live with that because it's just fun to see where the issue is, right? So not that I will not go to plumber. If that's the need, we will go to a plumber. But right now we are managing without the plumber. So we are trying out our own, trials and tribulations and so on. So whether it's an 8-year-old or whether it's 55-year-old me, we are all in the same journey. There's no hurry, neither to complete anything, nor to, in the sense, I'm not trying to say that we need to be slow or fast. It's a choice. In some things, invariably, each one of us is fast. In certain things, invariably, each one of us likes to be slow and easy and all that. So we are a mix of all the things, I would say.
So I'm just curious to know. So when you told your son that okay, you want to learn, you go and learn. So he learned it on his own. I mean, or you
Yeah.
had to guide, had to tell him.
In fact, we have no idea how he learned. In fact, he also does not have any idea how he learned.
Really?
And that's not just for him. So many children in Aarohi,
Yeah, my daughter also started reading by herself. I
Yeah.
have not thought.
When
No,
you
I'm
ask them, they will say, I don't know.
No, it's just not about reading. Why I'm asking this is that, tomorrow if he tells me something that I want to do this, and I tell him, okay, go figure it out, do it yourself. Do I do that, or do I need to tell him, okay, you know what, I'll help you, I'll support you, or I do that when he asks me to. Like, do I just offer my support right away, or do I wait for him to ask me? Because in the books, they're like, you have to be a guy, you have to be their support system, you have to, you know. So when you said just if I tell my son go figure it out yourself, he's like, Mama, at least help me, he's gonna tell me that. So I was curious to know that did he just like go and figure it out by himself, or it just happened organically? So yeah, great, yeah.
Yes, so Dinal, there is no one answer, and it's not like you have one answer and you apply it for all situations. It will depend on the situation, the context, how much time you have, how much interest you have. As Dwiji keeps saying, invest time on yourself, then on the child, and the child will ensure where he needs your help, he'll take it. He will demand it. He will sit on your head that do this for me, and where he doesn't need help, he will not even realize whether you are at home or not. So let the child lead his journey, and we don't have to follow him. And we do our journey, and we all keep connecting where automatically we ask, we are available. Yeah. And yeah, where you want to boss around, please go and boss around. Where he wants to boss around, you don't have to ask him. He will come and boss around. So there isn't one answer, is all I'm trying to say, that there's no one formula. Yeah.
Correct. Makes sense. Thank you.
Yeah, so Pavitra, yeah, you can please leave. Just to remind that we meet almost every Saturday. We have been doing that for last 4 years. So keep coming. That's the best way to, oh, not the best way, sorry. That's one of the ways to keep connecting with people. And there will be different people also coming in the meetup, so you can interact with different people and kind of take from there. Yes.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Pritesh, I thought you wanted to say something. Maybe we weren't giving you any time to speak up. Uh, would you like to say or ask or whatever?
Yeah, I just wanted to add on the community part. I remember Ratnesh when you came to Mumbai, we met in National Park. Uh, that at that time you mentioned one thing that two parents and one kid is a deadly combination. So you should go outside that circle and meet more people. So that I remember, and I have shared it with many of my friends. Thanks.
Sure. Thank you.
By the way, I am from Mumbai, and since last 8 or 9 months, we are meeting. We have the group of homeschoolers here in Mumbai, around 5 to 6 kilometers of radius. We all meet weekly twice, and we do activity-based learning. So yes, even my experience is the same since I am homeschooling uh, that I am learning more. So, and I have been the center, and kid is also helping me to grow.
I think we have had quite a bit of intense discussion today, so there's a little silence every. So that's nice. But yeah, I'm just inviting again, looking at the participant list. Yeah, if people want to jump in, Hamsa, Lina, Nishi. Oh, okay, yeah, I didn't see your name earlier. So hi. Um Sumit, if anybody wants to say anything, if you don't want to come on mic, that's okay. You can type in the chat. If you want to come on mic, great. If you want to come on video and mic, even that is nice.
So just remembering this sharing from the family from Madhya Pradesh, I believe, right, Ratnesh? I don't remember the exact one now. About a year and a half, 2 years ago, there was an open learning family who joined us where they shared this incident. They were visiting their friends whose children were, going to a regular school, and their daughter was about 10 or 12 years old back then, and they were playing a game where they had to go A, B, C, D, E, F, so on and so forth. And this girl was lost. And she wasn't sure what came after E. And but she could read books very well and have a very fluent conversation in English, but wasn't sure what was the order in which A, B, C, D, E, F, whatever came. And they shared about how it was such an eye-opening moment for all of them, that you could read books, you could have a fluent conversation in English, but not necessarily know what came after E. Right? So just goes to show how many different ways in which we can learn, and learn the alphabets too, for that matter.
Yeah, the way I keep saying this, when anybody says curriculum, I say, okay, that depends on which curry you like. Dviji's daughter was right now saying, I don't want to eat that, whatever Dviji has quick. She doesn't like that curry. So curriculum is whichever curry you like, you go in for it. That's the curriculum. I don't know any other curriculum, because any other thing sounds weird. Why would I learn certain things and not learn certain things, as certain things are extracurricular, and it doesn't make sense. I can't go to Rahman and say, hello, Mr. Extracurricular. It just doesn't make sense. That's his life. And for that matter, anybody else, everybody has their own curry, or curries. If like people like Duji has so many curries.
So Ratnesh, one more thing. What about the social life? I mean, some homeschoolers that I know of, they have kids in the building, so their child is interacting with them, playing with them. In my case, I don't have anyone around me with whom my child can play. So then, like, how to take care of that? Or it's not that important? I will be taking him to parks. I will be taking him to beaches, and he does play with random people. All that happens, but still, not every day.
Pranav, you want to answer that? Reshma, you want to share on that?
No, I basically feel if there is a need, the child feels that there's something lacking in terms of social whatever connect. Probably he'll express in some way or the other, and whatever is the like it doesn't necessarily has to be the same age group. It could be any age group. Like in the building, probably he meets the liftman. He probably connects with somebody, down walking, old people walking around, maybe children younger to him, or whoever. So it's not necessarily, as I see, like, it has to be a particular age bracket of, plus minus two. ऐसा नहीं है. And uh, and if there is genuine need, or if the child feels the lack or something, probably he'll express, I don't have enough friends. So there have been families who kind of, for some reason, for social connect, they have felt, okay, my child needs schooling, and they've gone for schooling. So that's also an option, but it's not a mandatory feature. And again, what is social need and all is individual driven. So it is not like a generic thing, like this much of interactions you should have in a day, or this much of people he should meet, or this much of people he should know. So I would again say it's very individual thing, and
Yeah.
person can still be fine with whatever the person is like, depending on his personality. So I feel, don't bother too much. Let your child come to you. Let him kind of express that. And if you feel the need, then, as it is, you are going to park and all. So if he
Right.
feels, he'll kind of express.
Right.
In our case, same. We stay in a gated community, so she has a lot of friends over here. But morning time is one. So she is a classic extrovert. She needs a lot of people around her. She wants to interact with everyone. So morning time, sometimes, some days, she does say that why I can't meet my friends. So usually then I explain it to her that as you're homeschooling and they are going to school, it's difficult to meet. And we keep regularly checking on her that if her social needs, if she feels that she is feeling very lonely, whether she wants to go back to school or not, which she has rejected so far. And I know, thank you. So as of now, then I say that in mornings can be all about the activities that she likes. She's very much into two things as of now, that is art, coloring, and lots of pretend plays that she does with me. So mornings are mornings look like that.
Thanks, Reshma.
I think I really like Pranav's key point that the child will ask for it in different ways if you're obviously ready to listen to the child. Um, I say that because often we are more listening to what we think is the right thing rather than listening to the child, but the child will clearly express it and probably also have solutions to it. You know, like I can again give you example of my daughter throughout her younger age, she never expressed the need for having children around her, although she had a lot of children around her, but she would do in her own world or whatever. But once she reached around 16, then she started expressing 16. So we're not even talking about, so all till 16, children are around, but she's least bothered. But at 16, she started saying that I want to be with people of a certain type and age and order. And then she only came up with her own solution of how she can be with a group of people of a slightly older age group in her words. And she found that solution. She went and stayed with a group for almost a couple of years and formed great bonds with that group. And that group is still a strong bond for her. The whole group, including one of them, she married. So it's so beautiful how it evolved on its own, without this thing about what do we do about her social thing? What social thing? We don't need to do anything about anything. Well, when she has the need, she will figure it out, and that's absolutely fine. And it need not have happened that way. If she would have asked for more things at a certain age, we would have said okay. And if she wouldn't have even said at that 16, we would have been okay. So yeah, what Viji was referring to, written on our gate, was it reads as enter without expectation, leave without judgments. You can do that for the campus, and you can do that for every day. Uh, so that's one way to work. I'm not saying that it has to be like that for everybody.
I couldn't find that photo, Ratnesh.
I didn't look for it.
I've been looking for it. I just can't place that photograph anywhere.
Yeah. Okay, I'll keep it handy next time, Viji.
It's a good one for the Meetup album. Yeah.
Yes, yes.
I'll start putting together a Meetup album.
I've also realized that in this process, we as a grown up, we get caught up with past and future. Kids are the one who are in present, And I've realized lately, a lot of time, my daughter brings me in present. So that's a fun element to this choice, that you are in present.
Yeah, I remember I went to Pranav's house just few months, December beginning, right, Pranav? And we have driven down from another city. We enter her house, and the first thing her daughter says, board game. Hello, hi, क्या होता है? कुछ नहीं, चलो, we want to play. I'm waiting to play this particular game with you all, and just put your bags down and let's start. And within 5 minutes, we had started the game. No tea, nothing. I'm like saying, chai pila do yaar. No. After the game, the tea happened. So that's the energy. I think, and I love that.
And I think that's another very Reshma, thank you for reminding me about that. I was thinking of talking about it earlier, but somehow slipped my mind. But this aspect of learning or living today versus learning for tomorrow, right? Schooling is all about you will need this later, right? And let's look at our own lives. How much have we used Pythagoras theorem, right? I mean, sure, I personally keep using it again and again, but that doesn't mean that everyone has used it all the time. And there are so many things that we use all the time, which we just didn't learn at school. Right?
I think we only use it to give an example. When do we use it?
Yeah. Yeah. So this idea of living and learning today is extremely important. I feel that when we are saying we are open learners, self-directed learners, we are living our life today rather than planning for a grand tomorrow for which we will, forsake our present. Right? So, yeah.
Yes, just to reinforce that, when people ask, so where have these, open learners gone, as in which professions, or, the kind of what's the future kind of thing. So I say, number one, they've gone wherever they wanted to go. So I don't know why, there's no definition to it. Possibly you will meet them on the road and won't realize that they are open, and just like anybody else. The second thing is, what's not important is where they went. What's more important is how they live the first whatever X number of years of their life, whether they are 16 or 25. I think that's far more important. How does it matter where they went? I mean, whatever each one is anyway doing is that's what they are wanting to do, or at least that's what they are decided to do, whether they, wherever they are in that journey. So, so it's not about, yeah, definitely open learning is not about the future. If you want a specific future, I'm sure the schooling system or the convention system tries to, whether it does or not, I don't know, but it tries to promise that. Um, yeah. And in fact, if I look at the number of people who have changed their professions from what they, within quote, qualified or got certified with, it's just too amazing. In this room itself, at least I know Dwiji, Pranav, me, all three are not doing what we studied. So three examples. I don't know about others. So it's just so funny. So in any case, if that is what is going to happen, how does it matter how I reach there?
I've got so many stand-up comedians who are engineers and doctors.
Yeah.
And we know a few engineers who were comedians earlier in their lives too.
That's
Yeah.
a good one.
But Ratnesh, thank you for saying that there will be a lot of fights. I was doubting myself whether this is going okay or not. I don't know. It's quite refreshing.
Yeah, but Reshma, that doesn't mean you go pick a fight, okay?
No. I mean, my daughter is a very spirited child. So just today, my husband has an office room. He works from home. So she wanted to set up her cafe just beneath his table. So, so we were discussing that you can set it up, you can play on weekends. but when your friends come over, Monday to Friday he has office, you can't come. So that discussion went on for 1 hour. She brought her points and we were discussing, and ultimately it has been set up under his table as of now. We'll see how it goes.
Please share something. These golden things needs to be shared in the group. If you're part of the WhatsApp group, so we have this WhatsApp group, please share that how these negotiations. So to me, it's not whether she won the negotiation or not won, but the whole 1 hour thing that you said is wow, that is the priceless part. Right? This whole
And we have this something or the other every single day. We'll have something to discuss about, and it will go for hours. And I was doubting myself whether okay, what's happening.
Okay, so I'm just thinking we're kind of we've discussed a lot today. It's a good time to pause. We are quite saturated with lots of thoughts. Obviously, the recording will be there if somebody wants to go through it or you want to pass it on to somebody. It's there in the playlist. We have recordings of forgetting the number, more than 160, 70 meetups. So that's a lot of recordings of all the meetups that we have done. Some we have missed, but most of it is there. So yeah, you can pick that up. And yeah, we are there every Saturday. And and we also have a small meetup tomorrow in Bangalore. So if you are interested, just check the group. The details are there. So if you want to meet in person, yeah. So let's pause here for today and meet next Saturday at 5 again. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Have a happy
Such a
weekend.
lively discussion. Yeah, have a nice week. Thank you.
Bye.